3.
What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan Tuerck, and welcome to another Thursday of Team Nitto at Home, talking with Tuerck. We have a special guest, Chris Forsberg. He'll be on in a little bit. And then we have Sam, Drift Idiot, Nalvin, also from Maximum Driftcast.
What's up?
What's up, dude? What's up?
Hey, so you're the idiot because look at how scratched up your phone screen is. What have you done to that thing? You got some J.J. Abrams lens flare over here. I know that you kind of work on cars on your own time, or at least pretend to, but this is bad, man. What'd you do to your phone?
I haven't upgraded the 10 yet, so I still have the older generation, and it's taken some diggers for sure onto the ground.
I see that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the quality of the video using my equipment.
I'm sorry for you mostly because look at that sweet, beautiful white car behind you there, and you're just reducing the quality of what that should look like.
I know, right? Shoot.
Are you pumped? This is all you've been talking about for weeks.
Pumped. I know. So I actually just picked up the template for it this morning. I've had it for a few days now, and I haven't been able to drive it legally. And it's not registered in my name yet, so I needed to get some temp tags. So I'm ready to put that on and start doing my first impression of the Supra. I know for a lot of you I'm a bit late, but I just got mine and it's fresh and it's brand new and it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to give you my personal impression from my drifting experience side, I guess.
So the run of the show today, ladies and gentlemen, is like weeks past, where we have a special guest. There's no way you'll figure out who it is unless you've read the title.
I said
of
it
the
at the
actual
beginning
episode,
of the show.
and there's no way you'll guess unless you heard Tuerck say it at the beginning of the show. But he'll be with us shortly, and this is a hangout. We're just here to hang out with you guys in this wonderful, hot in LA at least, Thursday afternoon.
Very hot in LA.
But we want you guys to post your questions wherever you are watching this. There can be questions for just Tuerck, just our secret special guest, who's Chris Forsberg maybe. And they could also be questions for the both of them or in general. Just shoot them on over. We're hanging out. We're here with you guys.
We got any questions to work with right now?
To work with right now? Well, I mean, I just told them to ask the questions, so there's not even time for them to ask them yet.
Guys,
I mean, they could. They could. Do you think our guest is ready? Do you think we should bring him in on this?
Do we want to bring the guest on?
I think we can bring the guest on.
Okay.
Guest, give us a thumbs up if you're ready to be brought on.
Guest, thumbs up?
Yep, that's a big thumbs up.
A big go ahead?
That's a big thumbs up. All right, let's bring him on.
Let's fire him up.
Unmute yourself and prepare. Here we go. There he is. There's the guest.
I'm fully prepared. I'm here.
Yo, bro, I know you're like an hour south, but that's like in LA time, that's like 4 hours, so.
That's like an eternity.
Yeah, that's like driving from New Hampshire to New Jersey in Englishtown.
Totally. We're some alignment and some work on the car today, so we're getting that thing prepped up to, we just got off the dyno less than a week ago.
Yeah, and you made, wait, hold up. And you made how much horsepower on that dyno?
1270 to the ground. Yeah, so a little intense. Dylan's car back to that dyno on Friday, and we're going to see how his does. And it'll give us a better comparison on if that dyno was reading high. They did tell me that I set the record, though, and that dyno has 10 million miles on it. So,
are you sure you counted all the zeros properly on that one?
Yeah, I thought it, but he's like, oh, it's 10 million. I'm like, either way. A lot. It's been up and running for 10 years, and they average 2 to 3 cars a day.
Wow. That's wild. That thing runs non-stop then. That's crazy.
Stop. It's a beautiful cell. It's ant spec over here in Orange County, so it's really close by. But, yeah, like, not soundproof, but, it's fully built in. It's got a crazy wind tunnel action going on, like huge, exhaust vent, and it's really packed in for sound. Like it's a really nice cell, so they use it a lot.
And it's also a Mustang dyno, right? Because so that's a load-bearing dyno. It's not just a Dynapack or like a roller dyno.
Yeah, like when I did the first hit, I thought something was broken. Because I roll into the pedal, and it's like whoa, and I was like, oh, and I back out, broken. So the first dyno curve actually goes like this and does a little dip and then back up again.
Yep. You gotta play it safe on that first one's always scary, the first hit.
Worst one, yeah. It's like I got John Reed on speaker, got the computer up and the car's running, and he's like, all right, well, like, floor it now.
Like, are you sure? Is it good to go? Are you sure?
Yeah, did you check all
Chris,
the
can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Chris, so you always seem to put down huge horsepower on the dyno when you first build your car, but can you put that much power to the ground? Like, what's your natural tune going to be when you're running these rounds?
Well, that is the same boost that we ran last year, second half of the season. But we did do a couple changes to the engine, so I think it's probably like that number. Here's my guess. I'm guessing that motor, that dyno's reading a little high. Like Dylan's car might go on there and run another 100 more than it did on the other dyno. So let's say we're like high 11s, mid 11s. And then I believe that the change that we did on the car in the off season picked up about 100 horsepower, like a solid 10%, based on like what John Reed said. The banks are more even now versus they were kind of fighting each other before. So that probably put us up to that 1100 range. So we're probably like 1050 or so, which is like right where Tuerck was.
So it being a V6 and a twin turbo, you have two pressure sources going into the same plenum, and they kind of cross over to go into the valley of the intake where the valves are, correct?
And we always had an imbalance of the lambda from left to right. We had an imbalance on the back pressure left to right. So there was always something off on the motor, and basically one side was working harder than the other.
Always,
and so,
right?
So we redid the intercooler end tank. That's all it took. And all of a sudden, like first pull, everything was, not perfectly even, but like much, much better than it's been in the past 3 years. So he thinks that like freed up, the engine a little bit and gave it a little more power. So,
and like you said, 10% over the 1,000 horsepower is, I mean, that
horsepower, it's going to be a lot.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because like our back pressures dropped from like 52 psi down to like 45. So the engine's just breathing better.
Yeah, definitely. Even that right there. So your EGTs are going to be lower. The turbos aren't working as hard. Everything's a lot happier. Water temps, yeah.
So, and like Dylan's car will help to see how different the two dynos are. So,
and because Dylan's car on the G35 1050, 2JZ 3-liter, 9-to-1 compression, 272 cams, made 867 wheel on the Dyno Sport dyno, correct?
Yeah.
And is that, what type of dyno do they have?
The D Sport dyno.
Sorry, D Sport. It's D Sport.
It's a dyno jet.
Okay. Yeah.
Typical run.
I'm curious, dude. I want to know so bad.
Oh, tomorrow's the day.
Tomorrow is the day. Heck yeah.
Dylan 867 on this other dyno. He's gonna be on suicide watch. So.
I don't know why. His car makes plenty of power. He's crazy.
Yeah, like I'll definitely be turning mine down because like I did take it for like a quick rip and it felt nuts. So like
I might have been there.
Yeah, maybe. I believe it's 100.
Yeah, you could turn that thing down to 1,000 probably and be perfectly fine.
You'll be just fine.
You'll be fine at just 1,000.
At just 1,000.
That's the target, man.
Always. It's always 1,000. At the wheels, not at the crank.
That's like 12 power.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're...
Oh, right. That thing's making like 1,500 horsepower. That doesn't make sense.
That's what I was just going to say. That is absolutely... I mean, but it is a GTR motor, and them drag race guys are making what? Upwards of 2,500 horsepower out of them things?
They are. Yeah. Here's... some of them are doing 3,000... The highest ones are 3,000 wheel horsepower. Like, that's like almost 4,000 horsepower.
Absolutely unbelievable. Seriously.
Here's the... out to me. We're like all freaking out. Like, holy crap, 1270. Like, that's insane. That's insane. Someone's like... Yeah, remember when Daigo literally made that in 2012?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, I remember he came over and we were looking at the size of the turbo on his car. I was like, how is that thing even going to spool? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And then I was like, oh yeah, he's running nitrous. And I was like, I still hadn't experienced nitrous at that point, so I didn't know how cool nitrous was.
Yeah, he really turned it up. But yeah, he did 1250 or something on that D Sport dyno because it was on the cover of D Sport magazine.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Dang.
So that thing was chugging.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Sam.
Did you just ask Dom to turn on the lathe? Did he turn on that bandsaw as a joke?
So Dominic just came out here, and he wants to get to work. So sorry, he's probably making some noise in the background using the lathe right now. If you can hear something humming.
You guys later.
That's fine. It's just a sound of progress. You gotta work on your cars at some
Listen,
point.
he just got here. He's very excited. He wants to handle some business. There's been a lot of projects outstanding that we're trying to finish up out here, including the East Coast car build. So, if we can withstand the background noise for a minute.
It's fine, man. Whatever.
What do we got for questions?
Here, I don't hear any noise.
The first
on
question
mine.
I have here is from Jbone 69420. He says, first of all, clean your stuff up. You're leaving stuff everywhere. If you borrow Sam's work light, look, just put it back, charge it, do whatever. It looked like you tried to
how is this information getting out already? Is this on stories? Is this like is he writing a little script behind the scenes I haven't read yet? All I did was leave his light out. That was it. And I also cleaned it up and wiped it off. You should have seen it. It pretty much fell in a bottle of used oil, and then I wiped it off clean. So like from then to now is pretty ideal.
It looks like you tried to rub off my initials on the back and make it your own.
Well, I mean, how else are you going to get oil off than like some regained parts cleaner?
All right, really good question, man. Thank you for that question. This one is also for Tuerck. Really surprising here, and I feel like we get this every week. Jomar asks, what's up with that Judd?
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. It's right over there. What is up with that thing?
Chris, what do you think about Tuerck's Judd?
Turks, what?
Judd. The Judd.
Judd.
What's up with the Judd, Chris?
What's up with that Judd that Tuerck got?
What's up with that Judd? I think it's the coolest sounding motor of all time. Thing up for us.
Yeah, hold on a second. We gotta warm up the coolant for like 45 minutes first before you can turn it over. So I don't think it's not gonna be done in time for the show. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe next week though. But in all seriousness, the Judd motor. There will be information coming out about that soon. Just bear with me. I'm trying to make the announcements appropriately. We're still firming up some partners, and it's going to be sick, though. So stay tuned.
Yep.
Forsberg, do you have any other crazy projects that you're working on that you can reveal? What's been occupying your time now that your FD car is built?
Yeah. What's up, Chris? I know you got some stuff cooking. What can you talk about right now?
Cooking. So we can't talk about one of them yet. Same thing. We're like, everything kind of got a bit of a pause. So we're making sure everything is still a go before we can go, announcing crazy car builds. But we got a few ideas in the mix. One is like an all-around psycho street ripper drift car. Another one is a potential version 2 of the Infinity, one of my favorite cars.
Ooh.
So yeah. Ooh. So we'll leave it at that.
All right.
Wouldn't this be version 3?
Huh?
What's up, Sam?
Wouldn't this be version 3 of the Infinity? Because we've done the white flame, the black flame, and now where would we go?
Kind of.
Yeah. That's a livery change. The car has been the exact same since we built it 9 years ago now. It was like, okay, do I rebuild that car and give it a little more power and try and, because all the cars that it's running with now are just faster, more grip, and the car's having a little trouble keeping up, especially with 4 people in it. So it's okay, do I put a VR setup in that thing, or do I try and pull the motor out and turbo the VK or something? Yeah, all thumbs up. But what I would rather do is
all right, then we
do build. So we want to leave that one alone, and that would be just kind of the the baby version, only 600 horsepower.
Dude, I mean, you know what to do. Just throw some nitrous on there, dude.
I know, that's what I'm talking about. But still a dated build. Everything's very dated on it. It's got a painless wiring harness on the thing. So
it's legit.
But I would rather leave that thing complete and do something new from scratch.
Yeah, I get it totally. It's like a forever car.
Yeah, I would be throwing it half of it away if I tried to rebuild it.
Right. What's up, Sam?
All right, we got some questions.
Couple questions coming in.
Questions. Speed Demon says, when are you and Chris going to collab and build a totally crazy car? Have you guys ever done that before, and when's the next time?
I think the last time Chris and I collabed to build a wild, crazy car was on Drift Garage Season 4.
Woo!
Where we built some unappreciative guy's S14. And then
he's every day ever since.
Yeah, he might have never driven it or even looked at it in 4 years since we finished the build. But yeah, I don't know. Chris, I mean, I'm a Toyota factory driver. Chris is a Nissan driver, so partnering up to do builds is a little more difficult. We could still
the drift pretty fun. Like we're doing some wild builds on there. And outside of that, yeah, like we have our manufacturers that we're catering to. So
yeah, yep, exactly. But yeah, the drift this show on Motor Trend last year that we did, that was a lot of fun. That was some of the most unnatural, wild drift cars that we've made drift, I would say. Anyway,
I will say that Sandrail drift car was like one of the coolest ones we ever did. It was so rad.
That thing was rad. What's up, Sam?
All right.
Keep them flowing.
I've got a ton, man. As long as you guys in chat keep on keeping them flowing, then we will have an unlimited amount of questions. You guys, if you are listening right now, make sure to shoot over a question in whatever chat you're listening in. Could be for Forsberg, could be for Tuerck, could be for both of them. Just shoot it on over. Questions like Felipe's. He says, how do you guys feel about not coming to FD Orlando?
How do you feel about that, Chris?
Well, no, yeah, throw it to me. Orlando is a love-hate relationship for me because it's like the track is like a little too simple, it's like a little too short, just two constant radius corners. But we podiumed every year we went there, so bring it on.
Dang. I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Fact.
That's cool. Yeah, I feel the same way. I got a win there, and that was because, well, one of the reasons was because you pulled your fire extinguishing system.
Yeah, to get out of that battle.
So you handed me the win, which, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't appreciate that, but...
Yeah, no problem. I'll pull it for you.
It would have been nice to battle each other at least. But yeah, I have mixed feelings there. The track's super simple, but it's honestly a really good tandem track, and it has like these little technical things about it, like coming off the bank, which is super hard G out, which is super annoying, but it kind of throws your car off. So setting a car up for that is really difficult. And then the infield is like a minefield of whoop sections. So it's really difficult to set your car up for that as well. But it's basically just one transition between the start and finish.
Since it's just one transition and it's constant radius, like those little things you just explained are so important because if you mess it up the slightest bit, it's like, and like you set that gap and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you can't like, dive into the next corner. It's
right.
Like too.
Yeah. Otherwise though, I do enjoy my time in Florida. I do like Orlando. There are a lot of really cool people and really solid car culture down there. So I do enjoy just being there in general. I know the heat's coming on, so I actually wasn't going to enjoy it if it was like 100 degrees and, super humid down there like it was in years past. But, overall, I'm bummed about not going back this year. I'm sure we'll be back next year.
Crowd was cool. I had this one fan that for the past 4 years, the first year we took a picture together, right? And then the next year he shows up and he has the picture printed on the shirt.
That's cool.
Right? Picture together. Yeah. It just starts going Inception. And last year, so he's standing there wearing a shirt of us with him with a picture of a shirt and with inside of that another picture. So it was 4 layers deep going into last year. So
that's pretty rad, dude. That's a cool concept.
How do you think he's going to bridge the gap for 2020? He's going to get creative, no doubt, if he's already this creative.
To Atlanta.
That's right.
No problem. He was super into it.
All right, we got more questions flowing in. Make sure to drop some questions,
coming.
Whatever chat you're in,
Thank
ladies
you guys.
and gentlemen.
Questions for me, questions for Chris.
This one's for Chris.
For Sam.
First
question. Here we go.
Yeah, from Brent. He says, why not get some Z32 content? You got a 280, 240, 350s, 370, but no 300s. He wants to know where that Z32 content is.
Bro, what is up, man? Getting called out on 300Z.
Almost built one. I landed on the 350 instead. I should have done a 300. I knew. Like it's such a cool looking car. It's just like if you were 4 years old and they asked you to draw a sports car profile, you would draw a 300Z. It's just like rip, rip, rip. It looks like a wedge. So
before I knew anything about cars, the 300ZX was my favorite car when I was like 19 years old.
They were
or 18. Yeah.
Super. Have like And they have like a cockpit, like kind of like a Supra. Like they were really killing it there for a minute, like the full like driver oriented style interior. So
yeah, it's like everything's kind of. It looks like you said, like a fighter pilot cockpit kind of thing. It's pretty wild.
like wraps towards you, you know. It's all favored towards the driver. It's really cool.
That does make it feel cool to drive for sure. Like this, like you said, like the Supra too, the Mark IV especially.
Back in the day.
But I imagine both of you dudes have, in fact, seen under the hood of one of the twin turbo 300Zs. It is insane.
Oh,
and there's like a common internet meme going around that just shows like the vacuum line, the factory vacuum line diagram of what that twin turbo system looks like. It's insane.
On top of that, the motor's not even that good. You can't even make that much power with it, which is
a lot of 300Z builds with SRs and RBs in them now, and they're sweet.
I bet. Put a GTR motor in one, dude. That was the motor. That's the motor doing one of them babies.
Motor put in everything. It's my favorite motor ever. Look at that thing. It starts making horsepower.
Seriously. It's already burning out. I went down there. I was like, what?
All right, you guys ready for some more?
Hit us. Hit us with some more questions.
All right, this one is from Philippe. Another Philippe, different one this time. Any recommendations on first drift car that could have potential to grow with you and possibly compete down the road?
I mean, that is, I'd say most cars. It just depends on your bank account / pocketbook and what you're willing to spend on the vehicle to upgrade. There's going to be certain cars that you can purchase that'll be a lot cheaper to be able to upgrade to get to the same finish line. As where there's others where you have to spend more amount of money to get to the same finish line. Yeah, I mean, Toyotas, Nissans, BMWs. BMWs seem to be the hot thing right now for everybody to buy and start modifying. It seems like replacing what the S13 and S14 were. On top of that, the FRS chassis are getting a little cheaper in that price range, like the 350Zs, so those are becoming very good drift cars. Sorry, it's FRS back then, now 8.6. Shoot, I mean, there's so many cars out there. These questions always make my brain blank because I can't think of everything that I'm trying to. But what do you think, Chris?
Yeah, no, I agree. The BMWs are really taking off right now. The 350s are like getting cheaper and cheaper by the minute. Like when we're like starting to like pay attention to like what like people are purchasing. It's like I feel like half of the cars like grassroots events are like 350s now. It's insane. And the other half are like these BMWs. And so, yeah, the FRS like is or the 86. As soon as they get cheap enough where people won't mind swapping that motor, I think that's like people's hang up with that thing right now.
Yeah,
is cool part about the Zs and BMWs. They have 6 cylinders, and so they have like just enough power to get by for a while. But then like you still need to do a power adder. You know, like there's not too many people doing the American cars, but you do get like V8 power out of a Ford or a Chevy, which is nice.
Right.
But
Mustang is pretty easy to, I mean, much like the 350Z, like you make enough power to go out there and drive. You're going to spend more money in the front side, and then I'm not sure what parts costs are for that car. I don't think they're as bad as like BMWs and stuff, but yeah, I mean, so there's plenty of options out there. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. Some cars are going to drift better than others stock and with a couple parts on it, and others you do have to put more parts on to get to the same effect. So it's just one of those you kind of have to, I don't know, it's tough. That's a really difficult question, but hopefully we gave you a little bit of insight to filter through.
Great way to not answer the question.
Yeah, I know. We just dodged that question altogether. My bad.
I heard over Dom building what I imagine is like a birdhouse or something back there.
Yeah, it's a metal birdhouse.
Yeah, so what I heard was 8.6 and 350Z. So sounds good as an answer for that. I hope. Oh my God, Dom.
Jeez.
can't hear.
At this point, it's humorous, so I will not. What's that, Chris?
I can't hear you too well, so just like basing my answer off of what Tuerck said. I didn't really know what the question was. Drift cars, like, yeah, these are good.
Perfect. All right, well, this one is another question. This one is for Tuerck, and it could be for Chris, depending on if you do run one. I don't even know right now.
We'll let Chris answer it, too.
Yeah. Dratina asks, what type of winner's diff do you run?
What type of winner's diff do you run? I'll answer first.
But
I don't run one anymore. We did have a spool though. We had an aluminum spool with steel inserts. Because the aluminum spools, if you buy them without a steel sleeving, you'll wear the splines out really quickly with a lot of horsepower. So, Chris, I think you run the same exact thing.
I do, yeah. Actually,
that noise.
big. So we last year we upped the diff to the style that you have, which is the aluminum spool with a center steel sleeve. And going into this year, we found out from Brian at MA that they have what are they, 130 mil axles now available for those things. So my stub shafts, all of the ones previously were 108, and now they're 130.
They're like this big.
It's like this big now.
It's the size of like one of those giant honey buns you can get at Dunkin' Donuts or something.
Yeah, not like we run like the donuts, and now we run the cinnamon buns.
Yeah.
Cinnamon rolls. Oh yeah, so it's like the latest and greatest, the biggest one. It is a lot heavier because we just scaled. Yeah, my car gained like 20 some pounds, and like the biggest change we did was put the new. So because it's got the bigger flanges and it's got the bigger CVs and the bigger shafts, so like all that added up, like it was almost 20 more pounds.
Dang, yeah, that's a lot more weight back there, dude.
Well, I don't want to break anything, so.
I mean, totally understandable. I understand. Yeah, but there are other diff options out there for the winter's quick change. We like the spool just because it's consistent. I believe there is a clutch type LSD that you can get, and also a gear type. I'd steer away from the gear type altogether because we've all kind of went through that and broken the inner gears, the worm gears, and that's not ideal. I can't really handle what kind of abuse drifting throws at it. I'd recommend the spool because it's the most consistent, and it lasts a lot longer with no kind of rebuild situation.
Absolutely.
So we got another question that kind of ties into the weight. Giannis has asked, or said, Chris said in his last video that after 2 rounds his car lose something like 20 pounds of each tire. How does that tire loss affect grip, and how do tire specs differ from manufacturer to another?
Can you hear any of that, Chris?
I heard it. So it's 20 pounds total. It's like 9 to 10 pounds per tire. And then you factor in the fuel, so you're burning like 2 to 3 gallons in fuel, so that's like almost 20 pounds. And then some nitrous, and if you like blow a bumper off or something like that, like you're gonna lose another 10 pounds. So when we scale our cars, we have to make sure we're at least like 40 pounds over, because we're burning up 30 to 40 pounds of consumables in 2 laps. And so once you throw in like a taillight and a bumper and maybe a wing, like you're gonna lose, like you need to be like 50, 60 pounds over the minimal.
Right, yeah, that's why we typically run 40 to 50 up over the tire allotted weight.
Yep.
Typically.
Yeah, and so it will affect the handling of the car a little bit. Mostly the tires wearing out, more so than the loss of the weight.
Yeah, each tire brand is going to lose grip at a different point in time on its wear point. So Nexus are going to be different than the Nittos. The Nittos pretty much wear all the way down and have a lot of grip until they're completely bald. A lot of other tires are like that as well, but they are all a little bit different. They all have a little bit different of a feel.
Yep.
All right, this question is a really dumb, terrible question from Aaron. He says, would you guys rather fight 1 Sam-sized duck or 100 duck-sized Sams?
I'd say 1 Sam-sized duck. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized Sams or 1 Sam-sized duck?
1 Sam-sized duck.
Yeah. I think I think the little guys would take over. It'd be too much. Just
100 is a lot.
That's a ton. I think we could take 1 Sam. I mean, Sam's not that big anyway, so.
Little fists too. Hair on you.
A lot of little beaks biting at you.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that both of you answered incorrectly because you're going to lose either way, cowards. It doesn't matter. So the question doesn't matter.
Well, put a beak on your face and let's get to fighting.
That works. Let's do it. All right, you guys, let's just get in your last questions now for Chris and Ryan. Any more questions, or forever hold your peace until next time we do this? So let me double check.
Which is next Thursday,
Yeah.
if you don't know. Every Thursday.
But not with Chris. Chris will be gone for a little while.
yeah. So if you have any questions specifically for Chris, ask it right now.
My social media, you'll never hear from me.
All right, here's one from BG. BG says, hey Ryan, any pro tips on being an FD driver for Pro Championship? And I dare say that would apply to Forsberg as well.
More so Forsberg, since he has 3 championships and I have 2 in Canada.
Yes, I like how you compare those directly. Well, Forsberg's got 3 championships. I got 2 Canadian champs, and then pretty much the same.
Just saying, I did 2 back-to-back in Canada. That was a fun time. Fun time back in 06, 05.
Stop beating y'all.
What was the question again?
The question was, gotta find it again. Hey, any tips on being an FD driver? I mean, it's a very wide open question, but what is the path to an FD driver today? Both of you guys, how would you get that dream or accomplish that dream if you were starting right now?
If I was starting right now, I would do exactly, I guess, how I did it when I was coming up. I would only spend money on the exact things that I needed and focus 100% of my time on seat time in the vehicle to try to progress your skills to get to the point where you can compete at a pro level. Also, your car obviously needs to be modified to get to that level too, since that has become such a massive tool with the modifications these days. But in the beginning, it's more important to get seat time and driving over the modifications done to your car. So you want to get your good baseline of driving in first so you're comfortable, and then you can start spending a lot more of your money on the modifications of your car. And then you can go to Pro-Am and compete in tandem if you get, I forget, there's Pro-Am events all over the US. I forget how many different ones there are. But if you get your license there, then you step up to Pro 2, and then you compete alongside the Pro 1 drivers, which Chris and I were called Pro 1 licensed drivers in FD. And Pro 2 is the amateur or the feeder series to get your Pro 1 license. So you would compete in that. There's 4 rounds that coincide with the Pro 1 events. And if you finish, I believe, top 8 in the championship, then you get your Pro 1 license, and the following year you can become a Pro 1 driver. So essentially it takes 2 full years to make it to the Pro Series.
Yep. And so what Ryan says, pretty accurate, and that's all very true. You have to start out in Pro-Am, your local events, and then you earn your right to go to Pro 2, and then you have to finish in the top 8 to get to Pro 1. But yeah, the long story short is it's incredibly difficult. It is a lot of work. It is more hours than you can fit into a day. I tell people, it's like, how do you get into drifting or be a Pro 1 driver? It's like, well, work until you can't feel your legs anymore, and then start working. And it's a lot, and so the biggest thing is trying to find the ability to afford it. And so what that means is you got to do it all yourself, because paying for the labor or the time or someone to do things for you is almost impossible, because it's just such an incredible amount of time. So working with a team and gaining knowledge and experience is very helpful. You got to think about, don't just go from, try to go from 0 to hero. It's, think about the best way to educate yourself to, like what you said, spend the least money possible, focus on the things that you need. And so reaching out to teams and interning with teams, you see a lot of guys that land in Pro 2. They used to be crew members of other teams in Pro 2 or Pro 1. So just kind of trying to reach out and find someone that will take an intern, someone that will help, push cars and mount tires. And you can kind of be there and absorb what happens at these races, what it takes to be there, and also just learn a lot of skills and save yourself a lot of time and money in the future.
Absolutely. And just to talk a little further about that, there's so much to learn by watching and visually being involved with these teams and seeing what the driver's doing on track. And then having a little bit of drifting experience and then understanding and seeing what drivers are doing on track can 100% relate to and help develop your skills behind the wheel of the car. So taking, I wouldn't say like a year off, but a year off of like going full tilt, trying to run every event you can, and focusing on helping out a Pro 2 or a Pro 1 team as an intern can further grow your experience level by dividends in the end.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think we brought it up a little bit last week, and it's really easy to always bring up. Hold on, wait for Dom.
No, it's a motorcycle.
Oh, did Dom get a motorcycle now? No, we always bring up Chris Forsberg's baby boy, Dylan Hughes. And Dylan's coming up because he was, of course, a very talented fabricator from the start, but by working his way up from being just a basic entry-level technician on Forsberg's team to eventually accomplishing his dream of now being a top-tier pro driver. So that's a great example of that trajectory. And we'll surely have Dylan on the show sometime coming up here soon.
I'm sure we will.
And we can ask him all about that. But I think he's kind of like my best example that I could think of the way to do it right from being completely outside to being at the very top.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, let's see. I heard that
Sam's scanning over here.
Yeah, I'm going to find one more question for us. The YouTube chat was popping off here.
Nice.
Sweet.
There's some people just saying nice things. It's wonderful. They're wishing you the best of luck.
We all appreciate that. We always appreciate that. Nothing but PMA over here. We're all just trying to build each other up.
Chris, that should just about do it for us then. So what is going on in your life? What are you going to be doing in the next coming weeks with drift cars? Where can we watch that content?
So we are, like I said, going back to the dyno tomorrow. So we'll be doing that. We are hoping to...
Whoa. We going back to... Why do you need to go back to the dyno for? You already made 1,300 horsepower.
Car.
Oh, yeah, Dylan's car. Okay, I was going to say.
And so we're going to go do that tomorrow. And then we're hoping to get some driving in soon. We're like waiting for things to open up. And but outside of that, we're working on some old projects around the shop and getting some other jobs done around here that we usually put off. Getting things mounted, getting things kind of situated and comfortable and organized. So we've been doing a lot of that, which is nice because it's always just thrash on the cars and load them up and go to FD.
Yeah.
So it's been good being around the shop and not have to be so stressed on the time to get the cars done. So
absolutely.
A lot what we got going on I got a YouTube series going again because once again I got the time to do that. So putting in effort on there, doing 2 videos a week, and then of course our typical social media, Instagram, Facebook, showing the more day to day.
Word up.
Cool. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for joining us, Chris. We'll follow you and we'll see you soon.
I'll see you this weekend, bro. We got plans.
We got some plans. We'll see you then, dog.
All right, man.
Well, it's always awesome to hear from Chris, of course, and I'm very excited to finally see his FD car on, I don't want to say the road in Mexico, because that's where he shot that last video, right? Of him showing off all of those.
It was just a random cul-de-sac in Mexico or some land that is still free.
Yeah. But your car is, what's up with the Corolla these days?
So the Corolla just needs minor work. I just need to get fitted in a seat. Nothing crazy, and we're ready to shred. So we're kind of just waiting for the allowance to, and I mean allowance, like
$20.
We're waiting for the verbal go-ahead so that we can hit the track and start testing for the year, and I think that's going to happen relatively soon. So there'll be obviously plenty of video and content coming out of that, which can't wait. I can't wait. I want to burn some nittos.
And you have obviously Dom in town now, and Dom is the master fab. He is the master car builder and one of the damn finest fabricators, I'd say, in the world. And you flew him out to LA on what surely must have been a very exciting airport voyage. And
he told me all about it. Not ideal.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
So he just arrived and he's banging away on some stuff. What are you guys working on in the near future here?
So we are going to, and I'm going to make the announcement for the Supra. We're going to start doing some modifications to this thing. pretty soon, but right now we are going to get a head start on the East Coast car so that we have some content coming out on the YouTube channel. We pick up where we left off with, I think, episode 4, episode 5. And we'll start cranking. I've been collecting parts, so I have a ton of new parts to show you guys, which is awesome because it took a while to get everything just based on the whole world kind of slowing down. So it was perfect timing for Dominic to get out here because we have almost everything that we need to continuously work on the East Coast car until it's almost 100% complete. So we'll be jamming from here on out for the next month or month and a half or so to finish that car. And in the meantime, shredding the Super around. Can't wait.
You just got some plates for it, so it's time to finally legally. That's really brave and mature of you to actually wait until the car's street legal.
When a car is in a corporation's name that sponsors you and helps, helps you out a ton, you don't really want to jeopardize any sort of relationship there. So you want to make sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's. I've driven fast cars before, so there's less of a, a halo over my head for that.
Final question here. Do you think you can cut my hair next week? It's getting kind of rough. So like when I see this
your hair,
live,
look at this is the longest my hair's ever been. Look at this. This is nuts.
I don't know. I think
so much of it.
It looks good. Oh, right. Now that you put it in front of your eye, it's a little bit worse. You could do some real scene hardcore kid stuff.
I know.
All right. Well, that'll.
Yes, I'll cut your hair.
Thank you. It's going to make such a good show. We'll give each other haircuts next week. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We should be back next week at our normal time, 2 p.m. PST on Thursday. But if we need to change some stuff up, I think we'll let you know, of course. And either way, thank you. We'll see you whenever it is. But let's plan on 2. And Ryan, do you want to send us home?
Thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of Team Nitto at Home, talking with Tuerck, with myself and Sam Drift Idiot Nelvin. We appreciate you guys coming in every week with all your questions, and we will see you guys next Thursday at a regular time, like Sam said, 2 p.m. PST. Later, boys.
Later, everyone. Thank you.